At the turn of the millennium, Valencia was a rising force in European football. Under the management of Argentine tactician Hector Cooper, the club assembled a squad of determined and disciplined players. Their style was maybe not the most glamorous, but it was effective. Valencia was drawn into Group F alongside Bayern Munich, Rangers and PSV, and despite being underdogs, they put in a spectacular group stage performance. Valencia kicked off their campaign in style with a commanding 2-0 win over Rangers at the Mestalla, setting the tone for what was about to come. But the real statement came in the second match against PSV. A stunning volley from Claudio Lopez lit up the night, but a penalty from a young Ruud van Nistelrooy leveled the score, ending in a 1-1 draw. Still, the excitement around Valencia was growing. Then came the Olympia Stadium in Munich. Bayern struck first, but Valencia fought back, equalizing and holding their own against the German giants. In the final moments of the game, Claudio Lopez found himself on one-on-one with Oliver Kahn. This was it, the chance to take all the 3 points. But just as he was about to shoot, the referee blew the final whistle. Back at home, they made Bayern again, another 1-1 draw, and after, they gained confidence and showed in Glasgow, securing their qualification with a solid performance, and by the end of the group stage, Valencia had done the unexpected. They finished as group winners, sending a clear message to Europe. This team was for real. This season the UEFA introduced a new format, a second group stage before the knockouts. Valencia faced an even tougher challenge there, but they navigated it with resilience, making it through the quarterfinals and proving they weren't just a one-hit wonder. Now it was time for the real test. Lazio, the reigning Italian champions, stood in their way, boasting a squad filled with stars like Pavel, Alessandro Nesta and Juan Sebastián Verón. But at the Mestalla, Valencia delivered one of the greatest performances in their history. From the very first minute, Miguel Angel Angulo fired Valencia into the lead. Moments later, Gerard Lopez doubled it, sending the stadium into a frenzy. Lazio pulled one back through Filippo Inzaghi, but Valencia refused to slow down. Gerard struck again, and again, a hat trick. The Valencia was rocking. Lazio managed another goal through Marcelo Salas, but Claudio Lopez had their final say. 5-2, a thrashing, a message. Valencia were not just here to compete, they were here to win. The second leg in Rome was a different story. Lazio attacked relentlessly, and Verón scored early to make it 1-0. But then, Valencia's hero emerged. Not a striker, not a midfielder, but their goalkeeper Santiago Cañizares. Save after save, he defied Lazio, keeping Valencia's lead intact. The final whistle blew, Valencia had done it. They were in the semifinals for their first time ever. In the semifinals, Valencia had to face FC Barcelona, a Spanish showdown, a battle between two teams that knew each other inside out. The first leg at Mestalla was nothing short of spectacular. Angulo opened the scoring early, sending the crowd into delirium. But then, Mauricio Pellegrino scored an own goal, giving Barcelona a lifeline. That could have been the turning point. It could have shaken Valencia, but no, Angulo struck again, and when Carles Puyol gave away a penalty, Mendieta stepped up and buried it 3-1. And just when Barcelona thought things couldn't get worse, Claudio Lopez smashed in a fourth goal. Mestalla was in a dreamland. The second leg at the Camp Nou was about survival. Mendieta struck early to make it 5-1 on aggregate, effectively sealing the tie. Barcelona fought back with 2 goals, but it was too little and too late, and so Valencia were going for their first final in their history. At the Stade de France, Valencia stood on the biggest stage in club football, the UEFA Champions League final. Their opponents, Real Madrid, the king of the competition. It was supposed to be a historic night for Valencia, but from the start, something felt off. Valencia were nervous, unsettled, and Madrid took advantage. Fernando Morientes struck first, heading in the opener. Valencia tried to respond, but they looked nothing like the team that had dominated Lazio and Barcelona. Then came the killer blow. A spectacular volley from Stig McManaman doubled Madrid's lead. Valencia were stunned. The fight, the energy, the magic, they were gone. And just to make sure there was no miracle comeback, Raul finished them up with a counter-attack goal. 3-0. The dream was shattered. The final whistle blew, and the Valencia players collapsed to the ground. So close, yet so far. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but the journey was far from over. The 2000-2001 season was their shot at redemption. From the start, Valencia meant business. They opened their campaign against Olympiacos, and just in a few minutes, Rubén Baraja and Diego Alonso had put them 2-0 up. A comfortable win and perfect start that didn't stop here. A hard-fought victory against Herenveen followed by another win over Lyon meant Valencia had one foot in the next round. But just as things were going smoothly, the ghost of inconsistency crept in. A surprising loss to Olympiacos and a forgettable draw against Herenveen closed out the group stage. Still, they had done enough. The second phase awaited. By now, Valencia wasn't just another team. Against Sturm Graz, Mendieta's pinpoint corners created chaos in the opposition box, with John Carew and Juan Sanchez punishing their Austrian opponents. The confidence was back, but Europe is unforgiving. In Greece against Panathinaikos, Valencia stumbled. A tough 1-1 draw left him with work to do, and then came Old Trafford. Facing Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United, Valencia played with no fear. He dominated possession, created chances, and silenced the theater of dreams. But football isn't always fair. Despite their superiority, the game ended in a frustrating 0-0 draw. A statement performance, but not the result they wanted. When Panathinaikos visited Mestalla, Valencia made no mistakes. A commanding victory secured their spot in the quarterfinals. Redemption was alive. Arsenal, a team with Thierry Henry at his peak, a team built to attack. And in the first leg at Highbury, Valencia felt the full force of the Gunners. Roberto Ayala gave Valencia hope with a crucial goal just before the halftime, but Henry and Parlour struck back. Arsenal took a 2-1 lead into the second leg. The Mestalla had seen great nights before. It was about to witness another. Under the floodlights, with everything on the line, Valencia needed a hero, and John Carew stepped up. A towering header perfectly placed made it 2-2 on aggregate. Thanks to the away goals rules, Valencia were through. They had survived. The dream was still alive. In semi-finals, they had to face Leeds United, a fearless, energetic team that had stunned Europe by reaching the semi-finals. Their first leg at Elland Road was a war. Both teams had their chances, but no one could break the deadlock. A 0-0 draw meant it all came down to Mestalla. And then, Valencia unleashed fury. Juan Sanchez opened the scoring, sending the stadium into a frenzy. Leeds pushed forward desperately, but didn't know what was coming. Another goal for Sanchez, 2-0. The place erupted. Then the captain, the leader, the magician, Mendieta sealed the deal. 3-0. Valencia was back into the UEFA Champions League final. This time, they weren't just happy to be there. They were coming for the trophy. May 23rd, 2001, San Siro, the opponent, Bayern Munich. For Valencia, this was destiny, a chance to erase last year's heartbreak. And it started perfectly. 5 minutes in, a penalty, Mendieta stepped up, ice cold 1-0 Valencia. But Bayern hit back. Another penalty, this time for the Germans. Cañizares, the hero in Rome, guessed right. He saved it. Valencia believed. But in the second half, yet another penalty was awarded. And this time, Effenberg didn't miss. 1-1. The game went into extra time, then penalties. The shootout was a nerve-shredding nightmare. Paulo Sergio fired over for Bayern. Mendieta, as cool as ever, scored. The stadium roared. The advantage was Valencia's, but the drama escalated. Zahovic had his penalty saved. Cañizares responded by making another incredible stop, and it was still in Valencia's hand. And then, Carboni. The experienced defender stepped up, struck the ball, and hit the crossbar. Agony. Penalty after penalty, the tension was unbearable. And then, Mauricio Pellegrino. He took the 14th penalty of the shootout. If he missed, it was over. He shot, Can saved. Silence, then euphoria for Bayern. Valencia had fallen again. 2 consecutive Champions League finals. 2 heartbreaking defeats. For Valencia, this wasn't just a loss, it was a scar that would never fully heal. But what they did in those 2 years will never be forgotten. They weren't just another team that came close, they were warriors. They were underdogs who fought giants and stood toe to toe. They didn't lift the trophy, but they earned something just as valuable: respect.